Hello, welcome to today's lesson. It's solve by factoring, and this problem is going to basically be two things. We're going to first factor, and after we factor, we're going to use the results of the factoring to solve for x. Yeah, and the kind of factoring we do today is not going to be nearly as difficult as the guess and check one that we did the other day. It's going to be a little bit simpler, and if you forgot how to do it, it's basically solving a math riddle. Yeah, so the riddle goes like this: What two numbers multiply to make negative 28? Oops, I'm not in pen mode. What two numbers multiply to make negative 28 and add to make negative 3? Yeah. So when you start doing this problem, you're gonna set up the problem just like you normally would when we did the other factor. You're gonna put two blank parentheses. Yeah. But since we're solving for x, we're gonna put equals 0 because we're gonna have to eventually get answers for x. Yeah. But we still have the two blank parentheses like we did the last time. And in the front of each parentheses, since there's an x squared, we're gonna put x in the front of each parentheses because x and x, that's what's gonna make your x squared. Yeah. And then the back part of the parentheses, that's where the math riddle comes into play. So we want to find two numbers that make negative 28. Yeah, so there's a number of there's a lot of ways that we can make 28, like 1 and 28, right? Um, 2 and 14, and 4 and 7. Yeah, so there's three different pairs that can make the negative 28. Yeah, and the thing we got to remember is it's a negative 28, so we need to make at least one of the numbers negative, yeah? Because a negative and a positive, when they multiply, to make a negative result. So one of these two numbers have to be negative, yeah? But we have another number, right? We have the 28, 14, and 7, so they also can be negative as well. So we have to write three more options, and when we do the three other options, we're going to write negatives with the other guys, yeah? So we basically have to see which of these six options makes our negative 3 when we add. So we all agree, hopefully, that all of these six combinations make negative 28 when we multiply, but only one of these combinations is going to make our negative 3 when we add. So let's see which combination does that. So this is going to be positive 27, this is going to be positive 12, this is going to be positive 3, this is negative 27, this is negative 12, and this is negative 3. So which combination worked? Well, the very last one did. Yeah, the positive 4 and the negative 7. So we're going to grab those two numbers, positive 4, and we're going to put them in the back of each parentheses. So we just did the successful completion of factoring. Yeah, so we factored as our first step. We're good to go. And now we move on to the second step, which is solve for x. So to solve for x, you're going to do this. You're going to set each of these parentheses equal to 0. Yeah, just like I'm doing here. We're setting it equal to 0. Then we're going to write out that equation right on the bottom here so that we can use this written out form of the equation to solve for x. So to solve for x, you just got to get it by itself. So subtract 4 both sides, and you get x equals negative 4. Then on the other side, you're going to add 7. And then you're going to get x equals 7 for that side. Yeah, so we have two answers for x. So x can either be negative 4 or it can be 7. And that's our final answer. Pretty simple, huh? Okay, so let's move on to the next problem. Alright, so same thing like the last time. We're going to do two blank parentheses equal to 0. And we see that there's an x squared in the front, so we're going to put x's in front of each parentheses because that's what's going to make our x squared, right, that we have in our original problem. And then we're going to think, okay, what numbers make 30? So we got 1 and 30. We got 2 and 15. We got 3 and 10. And we got 5 and 6. Okay? So we have to make a positive 30. Yeah? So when we multiply, make positive 30. When we add, we make positive 11. So we want to make a positive 30. So would this make any sense by putting negatives all over here? Yeah, it kind of would, because negative 1 and negative 30 does make positive 30, right? So when I multiply, yeah, it works. But do you think it's going to ever add to a positive number, though? Right? Whenever we add two negative numbers, is a positive result ever going to happen? And that answer is no. We are never going to get a positive answer when we add two negative numbers. So that pretty much cancels out all these negative numbers because, like I said, we want to make positive 11, and this is never going to happen if all my numbers are negative. So we're going to erase all those. We're going to keep everything positive, and one of our answers is going to exist in these four options. So let's add them all up. So this gives us positive 31. This gives us positive 17. This is positive 13. and this is positive 11. So did we find our combination? We sure did. It's right here, positive 5 and positive 6. So we put that in the parentheses, and now we solve for x. So to solve for x, we do just like the last time, set them equal to 0. Yeah, and then we have our equation. So x plus 5 equals 0, x plus 6 equals 0, and then you solve for x. So subtract 5, we get x equals negative 5. So that's our first answer. Then subtract 6, and you get x equals negative 6. So that's our second answer. So our two answers are going to be x equals negative 6 and negative 5. Yeah, and there we go. Simple as that. Okay. All right. So I'll see you on the next lesson. Bye-bye.